Yeah, I did change, and I'm really glad I changed.
This one's wife, 43 years old. Time for reflection. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. As you know, this channel is about narcissism and psychopathy. Occasionally, there are those that state, HG, you're obsessed with this one's wife. You make so many videos about her. Believe me, there is no obsession. There is a dedication to extending my legacy by getting people to understand narcissism. This one's wife is a vehicle for achieving that. This is because not only are many people interested in her, but many people are perplexed in relation to her behaviours. And, notwithstanding the fact that I have repeatedly pointed out her narcissism on many occasions and explained her actions by reference to her narcissism, there remain people who don't quite understand. Those who perhaps haven't come across my information so far. Others that need it to be driven home. And many of those that talk about and write about this one's wife in the mainstream media fail to understand what it is that she is and how that affects her behaviour. And it is important to highlight that so that you understand why people fail to understand, that you understand why she does as she does. And there is another example of this as provided by Liz Jones, who has written in the Daily Mail as follows. This one's wife turned 43 on Sunday. 43! She is a mother, a wife. Surely, now, she can start to act like a grown-up, mend some bridges, step back, take the higher ground. You will see that Liz Jones believes that this one's wife ought to be capable of those things, as she believes that her behaviour is as a consequence of immaturity, that she believes that having got a year older, and being a woman in her 40s, she ought to be in a position to act like a grown-up, to mend those bridges. This one's wife has not spoken to her father, who has just turned 80, since before her 2018 wedding. She seems to drop friends willy-nilly, the shelving dynamic. Her business ventures are erratic, as a consequence of her magical thinking and sense of entitlement. All the posing with women she barely knows smacks of the playground. Actually, it's driven by the superficiality of her narcissism, her lack of boundary recognition, and her sense of entitlement, which tells her that she's already great friends with these people, although she hardly knows them. Harry seems isolated from his old friends and his family. Isolation, a typical manipulation of the narcissist. Let's not forget a family still reeling from the cancer diagnoses of King Charles and the Princess of Wales. Landmark moments such as birthdays cause all of us to take stock. What's really important, we ask? Wealth, trappings, looks, or seeking deeper meaning to our lives, be it in small spheres such as family, or the large as in public service. Perhaps this birthday will give this one's wife such a moment to reflect. What should I change? Pausing there. The author of this piece clearly does not recognise that this one's wife is a narcissist, and therefore does not understand this. No narcissist genuinely reflects. No narcissist embraces genuine change. Certain narcissists, mid-range usually, will talk about how they've reflected on their behaviour. This is simply being said as a form of manipulation towards the listener. There's no genuine reflection. What is there to reflect on? The narcissist has done nothing wrong. The narcissist is the victim. The narcissist is the one that has been hurt. The narcissist does not need to make any change. Why should they change? They've not done anything wrong. Yes, a narcissist will talk about change, again, as a means to manipulate. See, for instance, my video, But I Can Change. But the fact that Liz Jones suggests that there might be some period of reflection, that there might be some consideration of change, demonstrates how she just really does not understand what this one's wife is. She continues to write, "I like this one's wife, and if I was one of her closest confidants, I would, kindly, tell her that to me she can come across as insecure, always a hand on Harry's arm, keeping him close." If you were to make such a statement to this one's wife, she would dismiss it. If you were painted white, she would probably say, "Thank you for your concern, but there's nothing to worry about." If you were painted black, she would react unpleasantly to the suggestion that she's insecure. Remember, her narcissism tells her that she is an independent, empowered feminist. Jones continues by stating a lot of behaviour stems from being a star, of course, even a small one. Actors are strange creatures, always alert to a slight, a lowering of their name on a billboard. I can't overstate the extent to which even a simple meet and greet must be thoroughly oiled and invisibly managed by minions. The royals know how to do this. The people around this one's wife do not. That's why some of her appearances seem so amateur. Overdressed for a film premiere in Jamaica, showing too much skin in Nigeria, underdressed in white shorts and flats for a parade of veterans. Pausing there. Undoubtedly, her advisors will have tried and failed to explain to her what would look best, how she should present herself, but remember, as a narcissist, she always knows best. She is the individual that understands the world far better than anybody else. She knows what suits her fashion-wise. After all, she sees it through that distortion field of her narcissism. The fact is, people will have advised her as to what she ought to wear in certain situations, and she will have dismissed that advice because she knows better. As I've explained to you before, she doesn't look at what she's wearing and think, "Christ, I look like a real dog's breakfast, but bugger it, I'll go out anyway." What she sees through the distortion field of her narcissism is a beautiful woman, elegantly dressed, stunning. If you were to tell her to the contrary, that threatens her need for control, and thus she will dismiss it. Jones continues by stating it's strange to think that when she married Harry, she could do no wrong. She looked beautiful at the wedding, and her second bridal gown by Stella McCartney was edgy and inspired. Her charitable choices were sound, a cookbook to raise money for the Grenfell tragedy, for example. Her allegiance to the Mayhew animal charity was spot on, in contrast to the taste for blood sport shown by many royals. She was a new broom, warm and informal. Her beagle Guy sat next to the late Queen on the way to her wedding rehearsal. This one's wife once brought Hollywood glamour and, yes, a touch of endearing brashness. She once got into a car ahead of the Queen, into a family that was looking very old, very pale and stale. It all went very wrong, of course. She accused the royals of, if not racism, then unconscious bias, leading to the famous "recollections may vary come back from the Queen," revision of history. Another Nadir, mockingly reenacting a curtsy to the Queen for the benefit of Netflix subscribers, smearing. These actions caused her popularity to plummet, and led not only to the estrangement from the royals, but from us Brits as well. That's why I'd tell her that her birthday this weekend is a chance for a reboot. The Duchess certainly needs it. I doubt that this one's wife could believe her look, riding in that pale blue vintage E-Type Jag on her wedding day. Believe me, she wasn't thinking that she was lucky. She was thinking, this is mine. This is what my life has led to. I deserve this. That she was en route not just to the reception, but a life of unbelievable privilege. She seemed in awe that day, seduced by our pomp and circumstance. Liz Jones, you couldn't be further from the truth. She was relishing all of the fuel because she was the centre of attention. Actress years are like dog years. Remember, all that fear of rejection, of growing too old? Those are actually threats to control of the narcissist. And naturally, many narcissists end up in the acting profession for reasons that I've explained previously. In that moment, this one's wife knew that being a royal trumped an alternative life, even that of A-listers like Jennifer Lawrence, say, or Beyoncé. Yet, she threw it all away. Do you regret it now, I'd ask her. My suspicion is that this one's wife wishes Harry were a stronger character, than he is. Harry too has a birthday coming up, his 40th on September the 15th, but he still seems like a child, petulant, used to getting his own way but now routinely thwarted. This one's wife has been used to alpha male producers, directors, masculine stars, even a blokey dad, an award-winning Hollywood lighting director. She states, "I'd tell this one's wife that to me she and Harry seem to have people around them who do not provide the best advice, who may fear standing up to them. Which all, of course, comes back to that insecurity I sense in them both. This state of affairs must change. For her birthday, I think this one's wife needs a dedicated stylist who knows what he or she is doing, and she needs to make a real difference with some new good causes, not just seemingly pie-in-the-sky business ventures. It's time, too, to make amends with Catherine. This one's wife must look at the respect and space given to her sister-in-law and think, why am I not deserving of that? Women fight, women make up, women get on with it. Not warming to a female in-law is hardly a reason to maintain this froideur, I tell her. Megxit has been portrayed as some kind of easy ride and escape. But the reality? Like being dumped in a barrel of ice. California is all about status and celebrity. Walking down Kensington High Street, this one's wife would stop traffic. In LA, she is not the only famous person in town. She's a smart woman, she knows this. Except she doesn't. It's time for her and Harry to swallow their pride, which will never happen, and come back home. Of course, this one's wife has made mistakes, but let's get those misdemeanors into perspective. Accusing the royal family of being archaic and suffering unconscious bias, surely Charles's description of his childhood was damning and hurtful for his parents, and his betrayal of Diana isn't worse than anything this one's wife has done. But Charles came back from his errors and humiliation. So can this one's wife if she has a good heart. It's sentiments such as that, believing that somebody can come back if they have a good heart, is why people fuck up time and time again with regard to the recognition of and dealings with narcissists. This one's wife is a narcissist. That means she has a pathologically entrenched mindset and set of behaviours which are designed to get to the prime aims. It's nothing to do with having a good heart or even an absence of a good heart. It is all to do with her narcissism. Jones signs off by stating, "I really hope she uses this birthday to step back, take her time, grovel a little if she has to." Like that's going to happen. Again, as a sympathetic girlfriend, I could gently say to her that I think the one quality she lacks is self-awareness. That is true. How am I coming across? What could I do better? She needs help to look at the bigger picture, figure out what she wants to do. I, for one, hope she does write a memoir. Perhaps only then we will understand her and maybe even forgive her for taking Harry from us. We Brits are generous and magnanimous. I'm sure we wouldn't hesitate to welcome this one's wife back into the fold, but she needs to make the first move. This article gets it completely wrong. It fails to understand that this one's wife is a narcissist. We already understand her. We already understand her as a consequence of my work. You already understand her as a consequence of the extensive dissections of her behaviour that I have undertaken. The only person that is able to truly describe why she does as she does, what drives that behaviour, why she thinks in the way that she does, why she says the things that she does, why she appears as the way that she does. The author of this article believes that there is some form of redemption. There is not. There never is in relation to a narcissist, but it is that kind of thinking that allows us to come back, to manipulate you again, to re-enter your lives and cause chaos once more. And that mindset of believing that a simple period of reflection by a narcissist would cure all ills. Not only is it naive, but it is completely wrong, and once again demonstrates how important my work in relation to this one's wife is. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.